I just turned the age of 25 and I recently got my blood work done for the very first time, and my testosterone came back low. And I decided to put together a list of the 10 things that cause my testosterone to be low. And they're honestly all surprising. Number one is probably the most important one to know. And if you are going to do your blood work and if you are going to take the test, this is the one that you should know. And I'm going to break that down. But I was very surprised by the results that came back. I'm 25. I work out 5-6 times a week. I eat healthy. I don't drink. I felt like I would do all the right things. I have a bedtime alarm that I'm pretty consistent about sticking to. And my testosterone came back 459 nanograms a deciliter. And I was really expecting like 800, 900. And the very first thing that I got wrong, and that is on my list right here, is not knowing when to take the test. This was the thing that probably shot me in the foot, and not knowing how to prepare for the test, right? You want an accurate description and an accurate depiction of what your numbers are going to be, but at the same time, like, you want to know when your testosterone is going to be the highest and what level and what time of day it's going to be the highest. I took the test after training for 13 days straight. So my central nervous system was probably very shocked. And the night before I took the test, I hit a very, very hard leg workout. I did like 4 or 5 quad exercises, and I was definitely gassed when I took the test. 7 to 9, that's when your testosterone peaks. That is when it is the highest. So that is when you want to take the test. And you also want to be well rested, well trained. So the night before, you might want to be in bed for a total of 9-10 hours, get a lot of sleep, make sure you get a lot of deep and REM sleep. And so that you can take the test and you know this is when your number is going to be the highest. You also want a realistic number, right? You don't want to just be someone who gets 12 hours of sleep. You had an amazing sleep, the best sleep of your night, right? You didn't train 3 days before, so your cortisol was way lower, and all of these things that you don't normally do. And then you go take the test and you get a higher number than you actually normally have. Obviously, you don't want to do that. You want to make it realistic. I took the test after training for 13 days straight, right? I trained for 13 days straight before taking the test. And additionally, I took it later in the day. And additionally, I hit a hard leg day before, and I had caffeine in my system, right? So my blood sugar might have been a little bit off. All of these things could cause me to have lower testosterone than I actually do, but my numbers were still 459. So even if it was a little suppressed, it probably wasn't that much of a difference, right? Probably made maybe 100, maybe 200 nanogram a deciliter difference. I don't really know, so I'm going to get retested in a month and I'm going to see where I'm at. The second thing, which I just talked about, is overtraining. That is another thing that lowered my testosterone. Is I was training too much. I was shocking my central nervous system. I was raising my cortisol. And if you know anything about testosterone, cortisol and testosterone have an inverse relationship, meaning the higher your cortisol is, the lower your testosterone is going to be. And that was the issue that I had. I was overtraining. I was training 6 to 7 days a week. I had trained 13 days straight, right? And I was also spending too much time in the gym. I know a lot of you guys, you love the gym and you love to train, you love to work out, but anything over an hour and 15 minutes, you are going to hurt yourself. Right? You are going to raise your cortisol. You're going to stress your body out. Okay, so that was another thing. I would be in the gym for 13 days straight and for an hour and a half every single day, right? That's too long. That's too much. And so what I did is I changed my workout duration to an hour and 15 minutes max. You are very stressed out and your body's very stressed out. It's going to cause your testosterone to be lower, right? I wouldn't really change it because I did think it helped my physique overall, but now I'm taking 2 full rest days a week, and then I'm not going anything over an hour and 15 minutes in the gym. So that is what you guys should abide by when it comes to your training, is you don't need to be in there every single day, and you can take 2 full rest days of not going to the gym. And then additionally, don't spend too much time in the gym. An hour and 15 minutes is fine. The third thing that I wasn't doing, and this is a key thing that I want you guys to implement, is not getting morning sun. I wasn't waking up and seeing the sun in the morning. And part of that was because I have a job. And when I'm waking up, there's obviously no sun. It's 6 in the morning when I wake up. There's no sun. And so I really wasn't getting a lot of morning sun. Why you want to get morning sun every single day is because that is going to reset your circadian rhythm. And when your body's in line with your circadian rhythm, you are ultimately going to get better quality of sleep. You're going to get more deep. You're going to get more REM sleep. And overall, your energy levels and just how you feel as a human being are going to be stabilized because you're on a specific schedule and because you're getting that sun into your eyes. And when you do that first thing in the morning, you are lowering your cortisol. You are getting vitamin D. Vitamin D is a prohormone every single person needs in order to increase their testosterone. So that is why you want to get morning sun. I set an alarm on my phone for 8:30 every single day because I know I can go on the balcony of my building and I can go see the sun at that time. It's the best time for me to go see the sun. So 8:30 a.m. was the time that I decided to set an alarm on my phone. So even though I'm at work, I'll pretend I'm going to the bathroom for 5 or 10 minutes and just go and get sun in my eyes, right? Make sure you do it every single day for 5 to 10 minutes. If you work in an office, if you work from home, take a little bit of time to go out and get the sun directly into your eyes. Close your eyes and look at the sun. That's going to increase your energy, boost your serotonin. You're going to get vitamin D. You're going to lower your cortisol, and you're going to reset your circadian rhythm. So many benefits that I was missing out from just not taking 10 minutes to go do this every single day. Number 4, not enough time in bed. And this is an interesting one because a lot of people, they think, okay, I need 8 hours of sleep, right? So I'm going to spend 8 hours in bed. When you are in bed, how much of the time are you actually sleeping? Think about it yourself, right? You know you're not sleeping the whole time. Sometimes you got to find a comfy position. Sometimes you need to get up and use the bathroom. Sometimes you're just sitting there restless, whatever the case may be. A good sleep efficiency, meaning the amount of time you are in bed and actually sleeping, is 85%. So if you're in bed for 8 hours and your sleep efficiency is good at 85%, which a lot of people's are probably not because they're getting a lot of blue light, they have bad sleep quality and bad sleep habits, you're only getting 6.5 hours. 6.5 hours if you're in bed for 8 hours. So what I started to do was extend the amount of time I'm in bed. Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I make sure I'm in bed for at least 9 hours, right? So that way I'm getting 8 hours of sleep every single night. And that way I'm getting more deep in REM sleep so I can produce more testosterone. Your body produces more testosterone when you get more deep in REM sleep and when you are producing more melatonin. So make sure you're not blocking melatonin out before you go to bed by looking at blue light, which is kind of what I'm doing right at this moment, but I want to make this video for you guys. And you should really be trying to spend 9 hours in bed. So figure it out. If you have to add some time on the weekends, if you have to go to bed a little earlier. Number 5 for me was just high stress. Right? Obviously, overtraining is raising my cortisol, but overall, just always stressing my body out. And some ways that I was doing that was I work an in-office sales job 3 days out of the week, right? And if you know anything about sales, you have a quota, you have to hit the quota or you get fired, basically. 80% of my day, I'm in front of a screen, right? I'm looking at my phone, I'm on my computer working, I watch TV, and I was just like, I'm spending too much time on my phone, and that is causing my nervous system and my body to be stressed out. So a couple of rules that I implemented to not be on my phone as much and to not be stressing my body out and having that cortisol was to go on walks completely without my phone, right? Unless I'm filming a video, that's the only case where I'm allowed to go on my phone, or maybe if I'm like out and about or whatever the case may be. No phone in the bathroom, and then no phone when I'm eating. You got to give your body and you give yourself time to be away from the screen, to be away from the blue light, because if you are in front of a screen all day, every day, you are just stressing your body out. You are stressing your central nervous system out. That is going to cause your cortisol to be high and your testosterone to be low. So I needed to find time to lower my cortisol. So getting out into nature, grounding, putting my feet into the ground, getting sunlight, morning sunlight, sleeping, eating the right diet and eating the right foods. These are ways you can combat these high stress environments and these high stress things in order to lower your cortisol so you can ultimately increase your testosterone. And that leads directly to my number 6, which is not enough time in nature. Again, you want to lower your cortisol and increase your testosterone. And the best way to do that is by getting into nature without a screen, without a phone. During my lunch, I'll eat my lunch and then I'll do a digestion walk in nature off my phone, right? A lot of you guys are probably around some area where you can go into nature, where you can go on a trail or you can go around a park or whatever the case may be for just 10 minutes just to go for a stroll. One of the best things you can do if you can be off your phone, you can eat your lunch and then do that. Best way to go outside, get sunlight, get steps in so you're increasing your cardiovascular health, right? You're lowering your cortisol by connecting with nature and being outside. Number 7 is not having a set bedtime and then blue light right before bed. Okay, so obviously if you want to increase your testosterone, lower your cortisol, you should be in line with your circadian rhythm. We talked about that, right? And one of the best ways to be in line with your circadian rhythm, setting a bedtime alarm. Setting a bedtime alarm, sticking to it, going to bed at the same time every single night. Blue light is going to block your melatonin production, and melatonin is in charge of your deep and REM sleep. And deep and REM sleep is what helps out with your testosterone level. So the more deep in REM sleep you get, the more testosterone you're ultimately going to be able to produce. But if you are blocking that because your melatonin is low, because you're getting blue light right before bed, you are messing up. So one of the things that I started to do was I set a bedtime alarm every single night at 9:30 to signify to myself to turn off all of these screens, all of them off, have my red lights on, have my blue light blocking glasses that I have right here on, and make sure I'm not getting any blue light for the rest of the night. And then after that, my bedtime alarm goes off, I put my phone away, put it on the charger, don't look at it for the rest of the night. Number 8, sitting too much. And I'm sure a lot of you guys who are in a desk job, who are working 9 to 5, you are probably sitting down all day, every day. And that is hurting your testosterone levels, because as a human being, you are meant to be walking around, you're meant to be in nature, you're meant to be out into the sun, all of these different type of things. And so if you are just sitting down inside, like I am, you are going to raise your cortisol levels. And especially if you're in an office and you're under fluorescent lights all day, fluorescent lights sap your energy levels. So number 9 is going to be masturbation and excessive masturbation / watching porn. And, this is one that I've kind of struggled with for a large portion of my entire life. This is another one that is going to hurt your testosterone levels, and it probably hurt mine because you are releasing prolactin, right? You are also heavily increasing your dopamine, which is going to lower your motivation overall. And then additionally, if you're watching pornography, odds are you are getting a lot of blue light. You're doing it late at night. And that was the thing for me, is that I would honestly be good about this, right? I would be good about this for like a week straight, 2 weeks straight, even months at a time. And I wouldn't do it at all. And then I would have like one slip up, right? And then that one slip up would lead to like 3 to 4 times in a row, and then watching porn. And every time that I did it, I would always end up cutting into my sleep, getting blue light right before bed, right? Waking up in the middle of the night to go do it, right? Because my brain was just crawling at me to go do it because it needed that hit of dopamine, right? So that was another thing that I had to look myself in the mirror about, and I'm still looking myself in the mirror about, is to get over that habit of masturbating. And anytime I think it's going to like relieve my stress or relieve the feeling, that feeling just ends up coming back more. And then I have shame and guilt over doing it, and I'm in a lower vibrational frequency, right? And I think that definitely affects your testosterone, right? That definitely affects your testosterone. You are spiking your dopamine, releasing prolactin. That is going to lower your testosterone, and you're getting blue light, and it's affecting your sleep, all of these different type of things. And sleep is so important. Number 10 is not doing enough compound movements. You might go to the gym, but if you're not doing things like benching, squatting, deadlift, barbell rows, military press, things like that, ultimately you are not going to produce as much testosterone as you could, because resistance training, and specifically in that type of fashion, and keeping your workouts under an hour and 15 minutes, keeping them to like an hour, is one of the best ways you can use resistance training to increase your testosterone. Started to add in the barbell rows and military presses. I started to add in more benching, more squatting, things like that. That is the entire 10 things that I was doing that lowered my testosterone. Now, since I've gotten the test, I've changed up so many things, right? Staying in bed for longer, getting morning sunlight, grounding, getting out into nature more, and like having specific times to actually do these things. One thing to go to say it, but it's another thing to like set an alarm on your phone and then follow it every single day. So that's what I started doing. Get retested on September 20th. So be sure to subscribe, hit the like button so you can come back and see my increase from my low result. Make sure you guys go follow me on Instagram, Tyler James Fit. And if you would like a free guide on the 5 habits that is killing your testosterone and energy, follow me on Instagram, DM me the word reset, and I will send that guide right over to you.